it's safe to say we can stop with the Kyler Murray MVP talk at this point because there was some talk of that maybe early on this season with that perfect rating that 1 week. But where do you think he is right now?
I mean, I never one time said that Kyler Murray was going to be in the race for the MVP trophy. And unfortunately, I feel like every time I come on the radio or any other appearances that I do talking about the Cardinals, I feel like it's really a broken record in the sense that I think Kyler is a good – Kyler Murray could be a great football player. But again, I just don't think that he's ever going to be able to achieve that status or reach his full potential with the cast of characters that he has around him. In order for him to reach his full potential, he needs more. And I think a really, really good example of that is the quote-unquote resurgence from Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold has always been a good player. I think there was a reason why Sam Darnold was the third overall pick in the draft. But the truth of the matter is Sam Darnold, throughout his entire time playing so far in the NFL, hasn't been on a team where he's had enough guys around him to be the player that he can be. And he finally has that. And he's in an organization that can support him. And it's like magic.
You know, Rudy, and we had talked about if he is going to be successful at being Kyler Murray, he needs all hands on deck. He needs the offensive line healthy. They're a little banged up. But the one thing I don't see from this offense, even when I don't see rhythm and tempo. I mean, they're 5 for 20 last 2 games in third down conversions. They have a good drive and they don't. I don't see the consistency or rhythm and tempo that I would think I'd see after 4 or 5 games, with this team. Now you look at him and after 4 games, I don't know if you see it or you don't see it, or maybe that is because he doesn't have the horses around him.
Well, not only that, but again, I would ask you the same question that I asked last week, right before we hung up. What is the identity of this football team?
Exactly.
Last night's a great example. When you watch the Baltimore Ravens play football, you know what the identity of the Baltimore Ravens is going to be. When you watch the Kansas City Chiefs play football, you know what their identity is going to be and who they are. When you watch the Arizona Cardinals play football, we don't know what they are. We don't know who they want to be. I don't think that they do. I think that they put a game plan together every week. I think their coach really hard to put them in a position to succeed. And I think their coaches try to find ways to create the best matchups that they can create with the guys that they have. And then it comes down to whether or not those guys can win. Can our offensive linemen block these guys on the defensive side? Can our tight ends get open against these guys? Can our wide receivers, not only get open, but can they win the one-on-one 50-50 contested balls when they're thrown their way? And, I mean, look, think about this. Just think about the Alabama-Georgia game this weekend. It wasn't like there was any complex things going on. You know what you saw a lot of? You saw a lot of wide receivers making great plays with one-on-one contested catches on both teams. And at the end, you saw Brian Williams make a great catch, make 2 guys miss, run down for a touchdown. And then you saw their defensive back turn around and make a great interception that was one-on-one. That has nothing to do with scheme and everything to do with those players. The Arizona Cardinals, they don't have those guys outside of Marvin Harrison, and they can't consistently win those matchups, which is why what you said earlier happens, which is why they're so inconsistent. Sometimes they look good, sometimes they don't.
Rudy Carpenter's our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Rudy, are we looking now at Jayden Daniels the same way that we started to look at C.J. Stroud last year in his rookie season for Houston? Is Daniels, in your estimation, that good, that quick?
I mean, he's been playing really good, right? And one of the things I have to give, the Washington Commanders and give that coaching staff a lot of credit for is they're doing their very best to run an offensive scheme that fits Jaden Daniels and fits what Jaden can do. Again, I think the Cardinals had the right idea with Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray in the sense of, hey, we're gonna draft a quarterback, and then we're gonna have a coach come in here and run a scheme that this quarterback likes and that he's comfortable with and that fits him. And then all of a sudden they go, Ozzie Monty as their GM and Gannon as the head coach, and they went right back to the old school way that all the other NFL teams have been doing for decades, which is, we're going to go hire the coach that we want, and he's going to run the scheme that he wants, and we're not gonna dial up a scheme that's specifically made for Kyler. Whereas you look at the Commanders, and that's what they did. They knew they were going to draft a guy like Jaden Daniels, so the idea was to go hire an offensive coach that was going to be able to put that quarterback in the absolute best position to succeed. That's why the week before, with the Bengals or whoever they played, you had heard the Bengals saying, oh, this is a high school college offense. They don't do anything spectacular. They don't need to. They don't need to. They call concepts that Jaden Daniels likes. They call concepts that he can execute. They call concepts that he understands. And when they don't work out, they trust him to make a play with his feet. And that's what he does. And then when nothing is there, he gets down or he throws the ball away. And that's when he plays like that, they don't need him to do much more than that.
And I think even with that, Rudy, the adjustments on the defensive side could not adjust to Cliff Kingsbury's play calling. I agree with you. I thought he did a great job of playing to the strengths of one Jaden Daniels with all the things. And it wasn't real complicated, but they pounded the ball. They threw for what? They rushed for over 216 yards, which I think helped that. But I think that it was the throws and the things they did were, call it high school, call it college, were very effective. And on top of that, you had Rollis, the defensive coordinator, could not adjust to it. And they just went up and down the field.
Again, like I said, what the identity of the Commanders is going to be, right? I mean, we know what that's going to be. They make it very simple for Jaden.
3.
And because it's simple, it allows him to play fast. It allows him to play confident. And because he's playing fast and confident, it allows him to be accurate. It allows him to play with great anticipation. It allows him to play with great timing. It allows him to, when he's very accurate, which means the wideouts can now maximize their yards after catch because they're not having to make circus catches. And then when teams want to, try to mix it up and pressure Jaden or play man to man, if he makes one guy miss, he's all of a sudden out the gate running the football. And to me, there aren't many things more demoralizing when you're able to shut a team down and then the quarterback takes off and runs for a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 7, whatever it is, and gets a first down. That's very frustrating. And that's what he's been doing. Jaden's good enough to where if you're going to sit back and try to play zone coverage like they did on that touchdown in the back of the end zone, they just ran a basic double post concept. He's going to be able to read that out, throw an accurate ball. And, that's what happens when, you have an identity and you know what you're trying to get accomplished on the offensive side of the ball.
If this was 5 years ago, would you have expected to see us out of Jaden Daniels? You knew him coming out of high school, and then when he got to ASU, I mean, his growth has been exponentially huge, I think, the last 2 years. But did you see this in this young man, this kind of potential?
I don't know. I no offense. I know that's like a fun, sexy question to answer, and I know these guys like to get up there. Oh, I knew it way back in the day. I saw that when he was 4. It's like, yeah, it sounds good, bud. I mean, look, what I really think is that Jaden and his family did a really good job in the sense that from the moment that he was getting out of high school, they as a family basically said, hey, look, we think this kid has NFL potential.
1.
We believe that it's very, very important for us that he is going to develop like an NFL player. And because he took that route, and he came and played for NFL coaches and the NFL style, whatever. But what I think really happened is Jaden has played a lot of football, and I think that's really important. He played a lot as a true freshman at ASU and as a sophomore, and then when he left, he went and played in another scheme against really good talent in the SEC at LSU. And so he's played a lot of football, different schemes. He's seen a lot of different defenses. He's played in incredible environments with a lot of pressure. So I think when you're talking about is a guy ready to play for the NFL, but he is a guy that had a lot of experience. And I'm just somebody who thinks that you can practice all you want. You can hire the best quarterback coach in America all you want. You can do as many drills as you want. But in my viewpoint, really the only way you're going to get better playing quarterback is to play quarterback in games. And he's done a lot of that. So I just think that's, one of the main reasons why he's having success.
He's Rudy Carpenter. Rudy, as always, thank you for some time on a Monday. We always appreciate you.
All right, guys.
You got it. Rudy Carpenter joining us, brought to you today by All City Towing. Join the team at the largest towing company in the state. That's All City Towing, and they are hiring. They got dispatcher jobs, call takers, lot attendants, drivers. The list goes on and on. And if you are ready to take your career to the next level, then visit them online at allcitytowing.com. That's All City Towing, where your future is on the move. Well, coming up, Alabama is the new number 1 in Week 6 AP poll, and the Big Ten and the SEC are talking about possibly